hey, if you're a nursing student or a new grad that desperately wants to get into the ICU, but you keep hearing, oh, it's so difficult, you can't do it, you have to wait a year or two and get experience, or that you have to do your last rotation in the ICU for you to get hired into the critical care setting, I'm here to tell you that it is possible. It's possible for you as a new graduate nurse to get into the ICU. And yes, you're in the right place. My name is Dr. Farah Laurent, and I am going to show you exactly how to get into the ICU with my 5 steps. So stay till the end so you can hear the whole thing. Yes, the ICU is hard to get into. That's what a lot of people believe, but many of my clients are getting ICU positions. Just most recently, 2 of my new grad clients got into the ICU and got same-day offers. And I'm talking about clients that are living in California in the Bay Area, which is known as one of the most competitive areas. And like I said, I'm helping nurses like you make 6 figures getting into the ICU and other specialty areas. It is possible. And here is exactly how to get an ICU position. Things to do and things not to do. Let's start it off. Step number 1 is mindset. Stop listening to all the negativity. Tune it all out. Tune the noise out. Focus in on what you really want and focus in on what makes you a great ICU nurse. You have to believe that it is possible, that you are worthy, you are enough, and that you're going to make a badass ICU nurse. Period. That's it. That's where you belong. That's the type of mindset that you need to have. And that will get you hired into the ICU. There's no victim type mentality. There's no, oh, let me wait a couple years. Let me go to med-surg and then go to the ICU. Why? Don't settle. Stop waiting and remove yourself from negativity, whether that's your friends telling you that it's not possible, clinical instructors, whatever the case is, it is possible. And I know firsthand because I was told as a nursing student that I would never be an emergency nurse and that I was too unorganized and that I should start in med-surg. But of course, I didn't listen and pursue the emergency department. This is why I do what I do today, to equip you with the confidence and the mindset that you need to get what you want. And it is possible. All starts with mindset. That's number 1. Number 2, invest in yourself. Invest in your certifications, your education. Invest in a career coach like myself, right? Hint, I am having a free training, a free webinar. You don't want to miss it. In that webinar, I'll be sharing so many gems, so many details that you're not going to get on YouTube. You have to show up live to get all the deets. And in these webinars, I'm telling you, people are showing up. Just from showing up to the webinar, they are landing their dream role. I'm sharing all my secrets, my frameworks, my strategies on how new graduate nurses can get hired faster in less than 90 days, making 6 figures, getting into positions like the ICU, the ER, NICU, labor and delivery. Click the link below so that you can get your seats, because once the seats are filled, that's it. You'll have to wait till the next one. Like I said, invest in your education, invest in yourself, and in your professional development. Do not listen to people telling you that the hospital will get you the certifications, because guess what? You have to be hired first in order to get that. That is not necessarily true. Not every hospital will pay for that. But why would you want to wait when you can leverage getting all these certifications so that you can be more marketable? Imagine 2 resumes. One with all certifications, one with nothing. Guess who's going to get the ICU position? Of course, the person that has ACLS, BLS, taken an ECG course. I recommend the one from AACN. An EKG course, an NIH stroke scale, an IV course. The more you stack up your skills and certifications, the more marketable you'll be, and you'll be prepared and more competent to move forward. So invest in yourself. Number 3, I mentioned it just earlier. What is the AACN? The AACN is the American Association of Critical Care Nurses. It's the organization for critical care nurses. And if you want to get into AICU, having that on your resume is going to blow them away. First of all, you just belonging to that organization shows commitment. It shows that you've done your research, and there are so many resources and educational certifications and things that you could do while joining the AACN that you have access to as a member. And that is the professional organization that later will also give you your certifications such as your CCRN, your critical care nursing certification. So definitely join the AACN. It is going to do wonders for you. It's going to be very helpful. If you can attend one of their conferences, which is called NTI, I highly recommend it because you'll make so many great connections, you'll network, and of course, you can literally leave the conference with your next job offer, right? You just don't know what one connection can do. And this is what joining these organizations and going to conferences and events can do for you, all right? And a quick other tip for you, get yourself a LinkedIn profile. Look at some other videos of mine where I share more tips on LinkedIn. But LinkedIn is going to be a powerful thing for you if you network virtually on LinkedIn and reach out to recruiters and hiring managers. And then number 4 is going to be know your clinical questions. You have to be competent clinically, especially if you're going to critical care, because we are not playing in critical care. You have to know your stuff. If you're going to be going to a mixed ICU, you need to know the population, whether you're in a rural area or a big city like New York City or San Francisco. You have to know what type of hospital system that you're applying to and where you're going to have the interview. Obviously, if it's a teaching hospital, you're going to be very familiar with working with residents and things like that, right? If it's a smaller ICU, then you are probably going to be in a mixed style ICU. If it's a big teaching hospital, you might have several sections, like perhaps a neuro ICU, a surgical ICU, a medical ICU, right? So you need to kind of be familiar with the location, what type of patients you're getting, and what type of hospital you're going to be at. And that's going to help you with these clinical style questions. Of course, you need to be familiar with how to take care of vents, sepsis, stroke, cardiac type things like a heart attack. Those types of questions you need to be very familiar with if they ask you case study type questions. Not only are they going to ask you clinical style questions, but they also will ask you behavioral style questions. So be very familiar with those. And those are questions where they're going to ask you, hey, tell me a time when you detected a change in a patient and what did you do about it? Maybe it was abnormal vitals, and how did you escalate the situation, or what did you do? Or they might say, hey, were you ever involved in an emergency situation? What role did you play on the team? And what was the end result, right? So you need to be able to succinctly tell a story, what your role was in the story, and demonstrate your competence in that role. So that's number 4, is to demonstrate competence and be able to answer clinical style questions. Just know your ish, plain and simple. To be a critical care nurse, you gotta know your ish. And then number 5 is simply confidence and adaptability. In order for you to be a critical care nurse, you have to be confident in the way you present yourself, the way you answer questions, and you have to demonstrate adaptability, which is simply how flexible you are. The ICU setting is a setting where things can change so quickly. You have to be able to adapt and be able to move, be able to recognize changes, and to really have a level and sense of calmness, but be able to take action quickly, work in a team setting, Be able to advocate for patients because these patients are often intubated, and you are the one recognizing everything, working with the intensivist, with the team. So you have to be on point. Obviously, if you have critical care experience in your clinical rotations, this is where you want to bring this up. Quick tip on your resumes, you want to put those critical care experiences at the top of your clinical experience. Unless they're asking for a specific setup, put those experiences up top. Also, when they're asking you for behavioral style stories, make sure that you're taking the stories where you've taken care of high acuity patients, or you were in those critical care settings, whether it was transporting a critical care patient, helping out with intubation, or whatever the case is, so you can demonstrate that you are calm in that critical care setting. So again, number 5 is confidence and adaptability. You have to demonstrate that in your interview. All right. So again, number 1 is mindset. Number 2 is invest in yourself and get all the certifications that you need to help you stand out. Number 3 is join the American Association of Critical Care Nurses. Make sure that you are able to sign up to conferences, events, those types of things, and network. Make sure that you're able to answer these clinical style questions. And then number 5, demonstrate that competence and adaptability. And again, you don't want to miss my next webinar. I'm sharing much more gems and I'm dropping so many great things. You don't want to miss out on it. The link is below. If this was helpful, please comment below and check out my next video on how to nail your interview. 5 key things that you need to know in your interview. All right, take care. See you in the next video.